Hello. Welcome to the Simply Together show. It is the 3rd of February. We're in February already. And I haven't been outside, but it is just grey. It's wet. It's not looking the best. Look, she's got a hoodie on. Oh my God. She's actually got more on than I've got on. She has a hoodie on.
I have hoodie on.
Are you cold?
TJ had to have an X-ray done on his back leg yesterday, so he's a bit worse for wear. He didn't really have, because he had to be put completely under, so he was hungry, and I only could keep feeding him like little bits just to get him his stomach back to as it was, and then he thinks he's going out for out. And we can't. It's like, no, go in the garden. So I had to stand in the garden just before I came on. And yeah, it's cold out there. I felt chilly.
Oh, I see. It's cold. So it is cold. I'm lovely and toasty in my house, so I don't know how cold it is out there. But I realise it is cold because Shelley has got a hoodie on. That is
kind of that
not seen cold. Very often. No. Not seen very often.
No.
So how are you doing? How are you doing? Because obviously you had to deal with TJ and his leg.
Yeah, I was okay. He particularly wasn't, and then the husband particularly wasn't. But yeah, apart from that, I'm doing quite well. I was at a event for the Luton Irish Forum, volunteering on Saturday. So if you know Venue 360. It was completely packed out of mostly women for St. Bridget's Day. So yes, there was a bit of Irish dancing. There was a lot of gossiping. They had afternoon tea, loads of money raised on the raffle. So it was a good day. So I think I finally recovered from everything.
Oh my gosh, because that is a very big venue.
It's a very big venue, and the way how we did the raffle was, you picked the number, they had to then wave their hand, stay at the table, and then we ran it down to them. So we were running all over the hall as well. But yeah, that was only one part of it. But yeah, it was good. It was good.
So that means they don't get to pick for themselves?
No, because there's so many of them, it would then mean the raffle would take forever. So they mixed up all the prizes. So it wasn't like you're the first number picked out, you get the first prize. They mixed up all the prizes. They all had individual numbers on, sort of like the first, second, third, fourth.
Okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
You got it that way.
Easier, because raffle does take ages, so that is easier.
And especially with the amount of people that were there. Yeah.
I'm good. I've had a couple of days off at the weekend, which was quite nice, but went out on Friday, out on Friday from the afternoon all the way into the next morning. So we did a show a few months ago, maybe in the summer even, about I had Simon on, who is in the band the Bolocks, and they was doing the love-hate music, etc., after all the stuff that had been the racist stuff that was coming out. Anyway, they got to play at the Dublin Castle in Camden, and if you are a music person,
Camden, was that Camden, London?
Camden in London. I've been to Camden twice in 1 week. Camden in London, and if you know, if you're a music person or a gig person, you then know that the Dublin Castle is very famous in Camden. It's been there for I don't know how many years. I want to say maybe 50 years, something like that. I don't know. It was one of the first places that Madness ever played in, and then got a residency for a couple of months before they hit the big time. So it is very, very famous. So I had to take the day off to go because they were going mid-afternoon, so I had to go. That's, somebody that I know that's in a band and they're in the Dublin Castle. So off we went. And that was really good. They had 3 other bands there one of them, they must have been like 15 or 16 years old. Their parents were there with them. They were
Oh,
brilliant. It's all up and coming, all up and coming. And then these oldies that were on last, but it was, yeah, it was absolutely brilliant. And then I took all day Saturday to recover.
I bet.
Up, back to the bed, then up, then sat down. Yeah, a lot of that. But that's all good. It is all good. And now we're coming to this week. So we're gonna, it may feel a little bit female orientated, but actually, if there's any guys there on there watching, this is what your ladies are going through. So it's a bit of both, really.
Mhm.
But on Thursday, so Thursday, 5th of February, is Time to Talk Day. It's Mind do a lot of work around Time to Talk Day. And the theme is Brave the Big Talk. And it's just a way to offer some space to somebody who needs to talk, who's actually going to be brave and have a conversation about something that is difficult for them or some support that they need. Have that listening ear, people. You need to have that listening ear, because there's lots of people out there who need to talk, and they might take that opportunity on Thursday because of the day that it is. What's your thoughts, Shelley?
I was just going to share, because we've just said sort of like it's Mind. It was originally set up by another charity, and they then folded. But Mind then took all the details on, and I just wanted to show you Mind's website. I mean, Mind has got a lot of information about all the different all the differences with all the mental health things that you could come under. But the Brave the Big Talk has got the 3 different pictures that you hopefully would have seen me share out. And it's something that you can share out on your social media. But it's also then got, if I find it from there, prompts of how to start off conversations. So you texting your friend asking how they're doing, or you want to go for a walk. And it's also then got some resources for schools, workplaces, and it says sports clubs, but it's aimed at trying to cover a bit of everything. So on the packs that you get, you've got these talking tips and things that you can print off. So you can just, it doesn't have to be that you'll do a big, huge, like if you're at school, you do a big assembly or anything. It's things that are then put up around your communal areas and things, just to invite people, say that you're willing to listen, or how to start up a conversation with someone if you want to talk about what's going on with you, or how to start up a conversation if you're worried about someone. So there's lots and lots of information on there. And Mind is a fantastic website for doing things like that. And it's offering quite a lot. It's printable. So even if you want to start that conversation saying, I'm worried about you because, and then you've got a piece of paper that said, look, I read this, then yes, it could then open up that conversation. And as I said, Time to Talk is a thing that happens every year, and it's just one of those opportunities that it gives you a reason to talk about a particular thing.
Yeah, and I think sometimes, sadly, sometimes people need that prompt. They don't feel able to just open up. And it might be that they are looking and thinking, oh, okay, so on that day, I might be able to share something.
Yeah.
In the best world, you could talk anytime you wanted to.
Yeah.
And there would be people there anytime you wanted to. But obviously that's not where we are. But it is about, I mean, the prompts, Mind, as you said, Mind as an organization is wonderful, and they've got the prompts there, and it's about just reaching out, whoever, just reaching out and seeing if somebody does need to have that conversation, because life is, it's not easy. We've literally just come through the longest month of the even though we know it's not the longest month, but it feels like, as I've said, and I said last week and the week before, I wasn't getting paid until the 31st, which actually was Saturday. So I got paid on the Friday, the 30th.
Oh, yeah, I
But
forgot. Yeah, I forgot that was Saturday. Yeah,
that was weeks and weeks ago, where you spend all of your money on the Christmas stuff, and then you have to wait all of these weeks, 5-6 weeks. January is not an easy month. It isn't an easy month at all. People are coming into January after leaving last year and may not be in a good headspace. Things might feel really, really hard. And January, I just think, just makes that even bigger, because obviously what you're supposed to do is go into January with a smile on your face and your New Year's resolutions and all that positivity. But if you're coming off of the back of some really difficult times, January doesn't make that any easier, but we're in February. Time to talk.
1 month
So
down.
the time to talk. Yeah, 1 month down. Only another 11 to go.
But yeah, and it doesn't help when you get me and Cecilia had just a little bit of a chat just before we came on. When you get things on social media that looks like everyone's having a good time or coping, or they think they look like you've got the head screwed on and things. Sometimes they haven't. Sometimes it's just they will decide to post on the good day. They will decide to show you what they've done on the good day, and it's not then showing what's then going on in the background.
No.
And just because someone's happy, smiley all the time doesn't mean they're happy and smiley all the time. It's something that's I'm in this situation. One, you could feel comfortable in a particular situation and you will be happy. Other times it's I'm doing this because I want to do this, but I'm not happy by being here. I'm sensitive. I'm not particularly happy with being there. And it's with the Brave the Big talk, it is something that you might not realize that it's normal or not normal for you to feel the way that you do. Just because someone gets through a situation by doing something one way doesn't mean that way is the best for you. One point being grief, for instance, how you feel going through. I've just seen Rita. Hi, Rita.
Hello.
For Rita, for instance, I know she won't mind me saying that's going through cancer treatments. Quite a lot of people will say, no, you've got to be strong, you've got to be this, you've got to be that. Yes, you have, but that's the person going through it. And if they need a bad day, if they feel bad and they need to have one of those days, let them have one of those days if that's what they need to do to get through it. If you've got someone, say for instance, when you've got things like you've had a baby, when you're pregnant, you've got your groups, and then you've got your groups when the babies, before they go into nursery and things. So that kind of thing is not just for you to learn what to do, it's also to then learn what's normal, what's not normal. So things like sort of any kind of down days could be normal down days. It doesn't necessarily need to be that you need medication or you need this or you need that. Your babies will grow up differently, but you kind of roughly know what they should be doing at certain times. So things might show up. For the rest of your life, you haven't got that. For women, that when you get up to the point when you're starting periods, you're going through your periods, you get through to what people used to think was just you just go to menopause, but no, you've got your perimenopause, which is now starting to get more and more information out there. And then for the lads, it's not necessarily, yes, you have got the hormones and you've got the testosterone, but part of that is then, and it has to be that they are the breadwinner, they are the one that will go back to work after the babies are born and take on all those responsibilities. It's still, even though we say we're equal, but no, those kind of things happen at those particular times. And those particular times are the ones where you will get mental health struggles.
Yeah.
Whether that be
Yeah.
physically what's going on with
Yeah.
you, or whether it's mentally what you've put on yourself. And it's those particular times when you need someone around to help you. And what you're feeling, you think, oh, this is what everyone feels. Like the boys are always told, oh, you just got to man up. Women are always told, oh, yeah, periods hurt. And you think that's the norm. So you go along.
That's that lie, to be fair.
Yeah,
we've now found out.
That's the norm, and that's the norm. But you don't actually know until you actually have these big conversations and you feel comfortable with people having these big conversations. Do you then not realise that that is not the norm?
Yeah.
When you look at something like ADHD, for instance, boys will be diagnosed sooner because they naturally go through it's just a boy that won't sit down, and they'll run around and they're always into something. Girls know they're not supposed to be like that as they're growing up through, and they will put the cover up. They'll be behind this mask, and they will just carry on. It's not until then later in life when a woman might be diagnosed with ADHD. So it's all these kind of things that if you don't know what's normal and you're not talking about it.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things it says on Mind, it said it's someone might not feel like it's normal that they are then hearing voices because the doctors told them, oh, you've got depression or you've got a label. But if they haven't actually physically said, well, I actually hear these voices when I'm them down, then they don't know that's not what everyone hears.
Yeah. Yeah.
Until you speak to someone, it's like finding out that some people like hear the voices as they're reading a book. Some people just read the book. Other people will actually go into the book. They can see everything. They can hear everything as it's put. We don't know that other people don't do it that way because you don't talk about it.
You're not talking about it. And I think that's that. I have a lot of clients over the years who come along and they'll say, you know, I didn't go and see the doctor because I just thought everybody did this, or, you know, there wasn't anybody for me to talk to, you know, because actually everybody's in the same situation and there isn't anybody there to have a conversation with. Whereas actually, I think we're getting better. We're definitely getting better.
Yeah.
In the sense of more people are trying to find those spaces to be able to talk about how they're feeling, whether that's with a therapist, whether that's with a GP, or whether that's just with your mate, you know. So people are trying to reach out more, but there still needs to be more work done. There still needs to be more work done, I think, because people are out there suffering in silence. They're holding all of that in. I don't want to burden any of my friends. I don't want to do this. But actually, your friends, if they're your friends, they are going to want to know how you are now rather than later.
Yeah.
Now, before things get 10 times worse. You know, so they want to know how you are.
Yeah. I mean, I have problems with my mental health, and I've always said to my friends around me, just don't ever think that you're putting any of your stuff onto my stuff, because actually, just because of the way that I am, that I can cope with my stuff, but I would actually feel better helping you out with your stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's I don't want anyone to ever feel the way that I do, so I then help people out, kind of thing, you know. But it's me saying that, I've got to make it quite clear to people, don't ever take on someone else's problems. You help them get through something. I walk next to you. I'm not in front of you and pulling you along. I'm not behind you and pushing you along. I'm next to you, helping you along.
That's lovely. That is lovely. People don't, and I think sometimes that's why people don't reach out, because they don't want other people to take on what they're going through, or other people don't want to take on what that person's going through. But you don't have to. You don't have to. Talking to me doesn't mean that I'm going to take everything on that what's going on with you. Depends. If they're my friends, then I most probably will do. But that's not the point, you know. But it is about walking side by side. We're going to walk through this together. I'm going to help you with this, but I'm not pushing you and I'm not pulling you.
Yeah,
we're going to walk together and get through this.
I'm trying to think, because that analogy was from a video that I watched when I did my my mental health course, and I can't. It's a well-known person that's done these little videos, like these little videos that's talking about mental health. So, for instance, when you have a peer support group, say for something like the parents that have got children with autism or disabilities, those parents will be, yes, we're all in the same kind of cave, but I know a way out and I can show you. I'm not going to tell you where to go. It's like, I'm going to show you the way that worked for us, and it might work for you. You know, it's that kind of analogy. It's not, I've got some friends that I love dearly, but I know the type of conversation that we'll have. It will be that they've got like the engineering head on. It's the problem solving thing. It's their work things that they do.
Yeah.
And then they realise they're doing it. And I already know that they're doing it, but we can have this conversation, and they might actually come out with stuff that would actually things that you haven't thought of.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, okay, if it was me kind of thing. But you know that you're in a conversation where it's not that they're pushing you a certain way. It's like, I know from them, it's like, if it was me, I would try this or I'd try that kind of thing, you know?
Some guidance, a little bit of guidance. You know, it's not, it isn't right. So you have to do this my way because I know what is best. It's about, this is what I've done previously. That may help in some way. And if it doesn't, that's okay. That's fine. But have a look at that. It's just a little bit of guidance sometimes people need. So you touched on your mental health.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us where you are in your journey.
Right. Okay. For me, right since I started my periods, there's always been something depression wise. Now, I've been diagnosed with a few things, sort of like my underactive thyroid, polycystic ovaries. So my hormones have always been all over the place. And recently, I would, 2 years, things kind of changed. Every now and again, and I couldn't work out why, I would get really quite angry, and really stroppy, like a proper 2-year-old kind of stroppy. And I've had it before because my testosterone went high, but that constantly was like this. This could be all of a sudden, I just couldn't cope with things and I would lash out. So me being me, I looked it up a little bit more. And I thought then, because I was looking at the testosterone thing, I thought it was something hormone related. And I did go down the route of perimenopause, because I know when you're going through that, things can be just that little bit too much to cope with sometimes when you've got the perimenopause or going up to menopause. But this wasn't like all the time, and it wasn't at the times what I thought it would be. And so I started to do a diary, of when I was starting to have all the problems. I mean, I've always done a cycle diary for my periods,
Okay.
because I always wanted to keep an eye on that, because I then know if my ovaries are starting to go a bit funny with the cysts, it naturally affects everything else. Going back a little bit, one of the other things I then thought of as well was when I was underneath the hospital and we was trying to have children, I would get sicky, like proper nausea feeling, when I came up to ovulation, because they were giving me tablets to try and make me ovulate. So that was one of the other things that I kind of thought back on. And it led me down a route that then was something called PMDD.
Yeah.
Premenstrual dysphoric disorder. Now, you might have heard of it a little bit because Vicky Patterson has said about her diagnosis. And you might hear it a little bit more because people just assume it's like premenstrual syndrome, PMS, but worse. It kind of is, if you want to give it a very, very basic explanation. But what it's actually doing is when I get the changes of the hormones, so it's not necessarily what hormones I've got in me, it's the changes of the hormones. So when you're going through your cycle, say you've got a 4-weekly cycle, you've got the two, like smack bang in the middle, supposedly, if you was normal 30-day, which everyone knows, no one's not normal 30-day. Smack bang in the middle, it's ovulation. So your hormones, one goes up, one comes down. It's supposed to fire off an egg. That change in hormone, for me personally, I get sensitive to, and it gives me migraines. And I will hit with a migraine very, very quickly. And then from that point onwards is called a luteal phase, right up until your period. So 1 or 2 weeks. And as usual, with anything like this, PMDD, you can't then say, yeah, that's that, because every woman's hormones is slightly different. But you will go into a very deep depression, and it can affect different women in different ways, even to the point, which is what it did for me. And I will say, sort of like warnings to those out there. It did set me to the point of being suicidal. Now, I had suicidal thoughts. I didn't, I wouldn't say that it was anything that I wanted to act on. It was just the thoughts. It also then affects how you think about yourself. So because I was feeling down, everything was against me. And when you look on some of these forums where we are doing the big brave talk, talking about PMDD, and everyone's saying about their symptoms, they will get to the point where they want to leave jobs, they want to leave their families, they want to break up with their partners. Everything is just heightened aggravation.
And that's from the depression.
That's kind of from the depression, yes, yeah. And the point that you're talking to yourself almost, that everything's just too much. And you will find that it will come on very quickly. So for me, I'll get my migraine and I won't have these thoughts straight away. It'll take a couple of days for me to get over the migraine. And then all of a sudden I will look at what I've recorded on the Skybox, for instance, and like, don't want to watch that, don't want to watch that, don't want to watch that. I won't bother with dinner. Yeah, I'll just eat whatever. I'm not fussed. And it will just be a switch off.
Yeah.
And then if anything's triggered me, I will get angry, or I will stop and I'll walk off. Like, too much, no, can't do it. Don't want to see anyone, kind of thing. I've also found out, since with the PMDD, that you can be more susceptible to it if you have autism and ADHD. Now, right the way back,
Okay.
when I then looked at it, since junior school, I've always thought there was traits. I mean, you know that I've been around now, slightly older. I've been around people with autism and
Yeah.
ADHD, and I always knew there was something, but I didn't know what. You are, is it 3 times more likely? I think it is to suffer from PMDD if you've got if you're on the spectrum. So I'm then going through these two diagnoses at the same time, and everything suddenly makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had PMDD all the way through. I think what's happened to me is where my hormones have changed as I've got older, the PMDD has then developed bigger, and I can't mask my ADHD anymore that what I was doing. So some of the stuff that when I'm in those 2 weeks, I can't keep hold of it. I can't keep it under control, and it pops
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
And part of that, when I've now been looking at ADHD, I've got this rejection disorder thing. So if someone
Oh,
was to say
okay.
to me, like, sorry, I don't think I can make it, but I'm trying. To me, when
Yeah.
I'm in that point, it's like yes or no. Um,
Yeah.
if you see someone's gone off somewhere together and like you're friends with them, but you weren't, it's got nothing to do with you. And I knew it had that. Now I'm sitting here, it's got nothing to do with me. They've just gone off. But if I was to look at it in those 2 weeks, it was like, why did they not want to see me? Why did they not get asked? Why? And it was almost like because you haven't told me, you're keeping a secret from me, and I'd go through all
Yeah.
this spiral. Um, if I wasn't getting an answer back from someone, oh, they because you don't care about me, and I could, but at the very beginning, because I didn't know what was going on and I couldn't control it, I would go into this spiral, a big spiral, and I would actually be. There was a couple of times where I was actually, yeah, I could have quite easily gone up to that person's house and smashed the house in, kind of angry by the whole thing. It was just
Okay.
completely not me. And then your period starts, and you feel a bit down because your period starts. But all of those thoughts and feelings, because that other hormone's kicked in and it's popped off, back to normal.
But that is so so you come into the month, then these things are going to happen, then you're going to
Mm,
feel like this, that feeling there, 2 weeks of for many people absolute torture,
yeah,
and then your period starts and oh, they're okay,
yeah,
and then
all
we then
okay.
go back to that the
And
beginning of that next month.
and then it's almost taken up the 3 weeks because you've then got a week of, oh my God, I did that during those 2 weeks. I don't
Yeah.
believe I did that. Oh, I'm really sorry. And I've got my mates turn around and say to me, just stop it with the sorry. You can't help it. But no, I know me now. Absolutely mortified sometimes with some of the stupid stuff. I was then, but then I think I'm saying sorry, but nowadays it's because I haven't acted on it, but I thought it.
Yeah.
So I've had to feed back, if you like. So I'm saying sorry for something you didn't know what happened, but I thought this.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think with PMDD, and I do try to say a few people when we're on our forum thing, it's when they're new to it, it's knowing it's going to come and making a plan for when it's there, leaving little notes for when you know you're going to go through a bad time, saying this is not you, this is your illness. They are all right, and letting people know because I will then message them and saying, look, I think this one's going to be rough because every month could be completely different. I said, yeah, I think this one's going to be rough, and I'll take myself out of situations. So I don't get that trigger,
Yeah.
or I work out a way to actually manage it that I'm okay. Yeah, it is the
That
strangest.
is so, because obviously because that's what you know now. you know,
Yes.
and that's taken a long time for you to get to that point where you
Yeah.
then recognize that. So all that time where you're going this up and down, this up and down every flipping month, that has been really, really hard for you, but also those people around you,
Yeah.
because they didn't know, but they
No.
know now.
Yeah.
You've got a very good support system around you.
Yeah.
Can you imagine for people who don't have that
Yeah.
and
And
having to manage that on their own?
yeah, especially when things kind of come out of the blue. I mean, I've always done things to do with mental health because, as I said, I've always had that bit of depression. And when things kind of happened with people around me to do with suicide, I decided that I wanted the training. Um,
Yeah.
but I had that training having to go on to myself. I knew I was safe. I knew what to do. But to try and convince myself during those times, I mean, for me to normally clear my head, I always used to go for a drive. I was fine going for a drive. I'd have like a cup of tea with me, a few snacks, just go. I didn't care where I went. I was just driving around, music on, and it would clear me. Once I got to the point of feeling quite clear, I could turn around and come back home.
Mhm.
I tried to do that and I panicked. I truly panicked.
Mhm.
Because I had the thoughts of, yeah, I could just drive into a wall.
Drive into a wall.
Yeah. And the day that I did that was 2 days before that guy hit the wall at Leagrave train station. If you
Oh,
remember
yeah,
that back last
yeah,
year,
yeah.
I was actually out 2 days before that. And I thought that could have been me.
Mm.
And it wasn't like I wanted to actually do any of that, but it was just those thoughts that you do get that ideation of. It's not that you want to die. It's just the fact that you just want things to stop. You
Yeah,
want the thing around you to stop. And for me, then it was, I am so confused about how I'm feeling and why am I getting these thoughts? Because I've got the training to know not to have these thoughts.
yeah.
Um,
No, you haven't got the training to
well,
know
yeah,
not to have the thoughts, because anybody can get those thoughts. You have the training around what you can do
I do.
and
Yeah,
offer somebody who's having those thoughts, because nobody can stop those thoughts.
yeah,
If they're coming, they're coming. You know, being around somebody who knows, who's had that training and can support them, that's brilliant. But that, yeah, so
yeah.
it's like that. It's that old, you know, that what happens is that we know what we're supposed to do because we've had the training. Oh, I'm a therapist. I know what I need to be doing because I've had that training. But that does
Yeah.
not make those days where you're feeling really low or something has happened. That doesn't change that, because my
Mhm.
therapy head does not come on in that instant.
No,
But it might
no,
come on afterwards where I might say, "Oh, you stupid mare, you could have done this and this and this."
yeah,
But when those thoughts come on, that's just me. That's Cecile. The therapy Cecile may rear its head later on, which is the same for
yeah,
you. You have some training, but when you're in that situation, that's Shelley.
yeah,
It's not Shelley who's had training, it's Shelley.
yeah, yeah. And it's a weird one because you have all the peer support groups and stuff, and different women will go through different signs, symptoms, and it also then means different women will react differently to some of what they can offer you. So you say about going on antidepressants. Some antidepressants work better for others if you've got ADHD because of the way
Yeah,
that it's putting the serotonin
yeah,
in and things like that. Um, some women will be more sensitive to progesterone. Some are more sensitive to estrogen. So it's not necessarily, I will put you on the pill because that's stopping the ovulation. Um, So that will then help you. No, that some people are more sensitive to one lot of pill or combined pill or a separate pill. Hormone injections, I mean, like the yeah, we have the injection where you extend the 3 months of your contraceptive
Oh
injection
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Some people are more susceptible to the coil. That's for me, having the medicated coil has kind of helped the period side of things. So I'm back to touch wood to not being a heavy bleeder anymore. Going back to like we were saying before, I was wearing incontinence pants for the amount of bleed that I was having, and I was then bleeding for the full 10 days. So I was losing a lot every month. So that has calmed down. And it hasn't necessarily helped the PMDD side of things. One of the things that has is an antihistamine every day,
Okay,
because the histamine
okay.
levels in me is obviously what's causing the spike. So if I've not got so much of a spike, it's kind of leveled me out a little bit. Whereas some people, it's not the histamine that's causing the problem. The only real thing that happens to completely cure someone is to be put through a chemical menopause. And they do that to make sure it's going to work before they put you in for having when I say hysterectomy, I mean full hysterectomy, as in the ovaries and the uterus then comes out. Or they could just remove the ovaries if you want to keep a uterus for any other reasons. But that is the only cure as such, because you're taking away what's giving you the hormones. But you then get the whole
Right.
thing of, one, you're into a menopause, and two, what hormones do they add back for your body to carry on producing things to help your skin, to help, like, with all the other things that you go through with menopause. So you can go through another route of, it's taking everything away, but is your body still going to be all right with just that little bit of that hormone or a little bit of that hormone? But that is the only cure. That's the only thing that would be a cure. So all these women that were out there that might want to have a child at some point, it is literally just trying to find a pill or something that works, or getting through it as much as you can. And then you've got the added argument of, even if you don't want children, or you've had enough children, or, for instance, even me, where I've been classed as infertile, they still wouldn't put me through for a hysterectomy straight away now. I still have to go
Because
through the route. I don't know. Might as well take it out. None of it ever worked.
so,
I'm going through the battle
but
now at the
also,
minute for that to then be a referral. And I've been doing
and
that
the,
for 6
and
months
there you
now.
go, and there you go, because actually that then ends up as a battle. Why
Yeah.
is it a battle? Considering, and everybody's different. So whoever's watching, and it might be that actually you've got PMDD, but actually you still are wanting to have some children, etc., etc.
Mhm.
Shelley's now reached or reaching or nearing an age.
Yeah.
But obviously, in your words, it hasn't worked anyway. So why not then take it out? And now you've got to fight to get that done.
I'd like to have it removed, yeah.
But also, that's not just a right. So I'm fighting to just get a pill, or I'm fighting to do this. That is a huge operation, major surgery with a massive amount of recovery time.
Yeah.
That's not an easy thing to then do either.
No.
None of it is. None of it is. None of it is.
And
It's
I say, as us as a group, when we do get to that point and we want to do the fight, it's always, pretty much always, is male doctors, and you do think kind of like, oh, is it that you have no clue what I'm going through? This is not just premenstrual syndrome. This is not just, I'm a bit grumpy, or I've got a headache, or I'm aching. It's the full on thing. it's everything in your body and your brain that goes at the same time. I mean, I'll get aches and pains all over the place that just, yeah. And I look at my, because I've got an actual different monitor thing on my phone, like my diary thing, and it's like, oh, right, okay, because it's because of that.
So,
It is.
here's a question then, not necessarily for you, because you've actually just said this. So, and I know that there's most probably not even an answer. I know that it's a thought there that's in my head. So, is there? So why do guys, why do male doctors choose to work with fertility and everything else? What is that? What I don't. And I'm honestly, I'm not being rude. I'm not being anything. It's just why? Because actually, they don't even feel any of this. So
Yeah.
I'm curious as to why they would want to do that job. And
Yeah.
I am, touch wood, I've been lucky, very, very lucky. I haven't had any of those problems at all, but I am around people that do, and have recently, not December, November time, been to an appointment with somebody, and there was 2 doctors who came out into the reception, and one was a man and one was a woman. The man was as grumpy as hell. And I remember saying to the person I was with, I hope you don't get him. And luckily they got the female doctor, and she was lovely. He might have been lovely in the room. In reception, he wasn't. And it kind of made me think, so what are you doing here? Because do you actually, how much do you understand?
Yeah.
How much do you understand? I don't know. But yeah, it's a thought. It's a thought that's in my head. There's no answer. I know there isn't.
Yeah, it is. It is strange. I mean, we have thankfully got a few more, especially in our area, we've got a few more female gynecologists now that are actually then on board and do actually understand
Yeah.
some of these things. Because where I've talked about suicide before, I mean, it's something that I'm looking into more, because I think there's about, I've forgotten what the percentage of women out there that will get PMDD. I think it's something like 3 or 5%. But out of those, about 30% will actually have these suicidal thoughts. So how
Yeah.
much of that, as a woman, when you're trying to deal with children, or you're trying to deal with trying to have a baby, or you're trying to deal with like the house, are actually then having those attempts, or
Yeah.
yeah. And it is scary that it's something that's a mood disorder that's that is not then being picked up on as much, or being misunderstood. Because things like the extreme tiredness is the other one. I mean, I'm used to extreme tiredness with my thyroid, always have been. But I could get to the point where the day before my period starts, I know that's when it is, because I could literally sit in the chair here. I've done it with, I mean, I always have a big mug of tea.
Yeah.
I've sat down, put the telly on, I'm a bit tired, and the next minute I know the tea is on my lap. I've done it twice recently. I've
Yeah.
gone to sleep
Yeah.
that quick.
Yeah.
And it's just so scary, just so scary.
And I think for I mean, I have that the fatigue with the fibromyalgia. So the
Yeah,
same, you can sit in a chair and then the next thing you know, it's 5, 10, an hour, whatever later. And I
yeah,
don't, and if you're then trying to manage children or a job or just life in general, that alone has a major impact. But then with the PMDD, you've then got all these other things
other things
that
that's
have
going
an
on. Yeah,
impact as well. And then the whole neurodiversity that comes into it,
yeah.
that then adds.
It's
We've only got a few minutes left.
it's just such an odd one, and as you say with the tiredness, people just do not get. When I say I'm tired, I'm just feeling a bit rough, and I'll have to have a proper sit down. When I'm like this, and the same with yourself, you know you need to get down and sat somewhere. You know your body's just going to crash,
Yeah,
and there's
yeah,
nothing you can do about it. Absolutely nothing. Because your brain, it's just there 1 minute and it's gone the next. That's the only way you can describe it.
Yeah. PMDD. So we will be talking about this again because Shelley's only scratched the surface. It's just so much that goes into all of this and the effect that it has, every single month. Yeah. I've had some women that I've worked with who have got polycystic ovaries or different things like that. Haven't worked with anybody who's got PMDD.
Because
but it's huge.
PCOS is another one that it kind of takes over your hormones, and you could do different things at different times. And it was all these things like the underactive thyroid, the PCOS, are all the same kind of symptoms, in as much as my hormones are bad, my mental health is bad. But trying to explain, I've got all this new stuff.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not. Don't try and pigeonhole me into something. There's something that's going on, and luckily my doctor was kind of like, "Yep, you've been with us long enough. We're understanding that this is now something new."
Yeah.
The website I've just put up on there that's in the comments is one of the best ones for looking at premenstrual disorders and stuff. And they've got their own chat lines and stuff. But if anyone out there, and this pops up because I have linked it in on different things, if anything pops up on there and you want to chat, going to Simply D's or find me on as Shelley Titmus, and I can then point you into some of the Facebook groups as well. So I wouldn't feel comfortable myself helping anyone, but as I said earlier, I'm quite happy to then say, this is the way that I found, and I'll stand with you and help you through it.
Which is helping someone.
Yeah.
So anybody who's watching, like Shelley says, get in touch. If you've got a story, your own journey that you're going through, then let us know. If any of this ticks all those boxes, go to your GP. And sadly, with a lot of things, you have to go back and you have to go back and you have to go back. But persevere, because eventually you will then get that diagnosis, if this is what it is, or you may get a different diagnosis. But we are at this moment in time having to go through the more than one visit to the doctor to find out what's going on. Just keep persevering.
Yeah.
Because if you've got something like this, that is going to be affecting you every single way, every single month. And you do need to then get some support.
I would say going and knowing what you're thinking, and going with, if you can, do a diary of different. There's a few things on that you can get on your phone, that if it's menstrual kind of thing, they've got that, or you've got you've got things that is then your mental health, to make diaries, to actually look at things. So anything, not even just PMDD, anything to do with your mental health, if you've got some kind of backup to explain, because it's going to be difficult when you first go into the doctors and trying to explain how you're feeling. And don't be surprised if you get angry or you start crying. It was one of the things that I would say. If it is something that's that important to you, your emotions are going to be there. And the doctor has seen it, and the doctor might respond more to it. I have had a couple of episodes where I've gone in. They're like, "Oh, hang on a minute."
And again, it's not what you want to do, but actually that's your emotions, and they're just coming out, and you're just trying to explain something, and this is what's happening. So you just go with it. Just go with it. You can't stop it. So, yeah. Okay. So tonight is Real Talk Show.
Yes.
Dee has got some fabulous guests coming on. 7 o'clock till whenever.
Yeah.
7 o'clock till 10 o'clock.
To way past
10
my
o'clock
cocoa
ish,
time.
depending on way past your cocoa time. So that's on tonight. I don't know if people have seen, we have got our International Women's Day. Is it soiree?
It's an afternoon soiree we've gone with, yes.
Afternoon soiree. Afternoon soiree for the ladies. It is only for the ladies.
Yes.
I know it might annoy some of you men, but it is just for the ladies. And that is on the 22nd of March, 2 till 5 at the Luton Irish Forum. It's £20 a person. There will be nibblies and what have you there as well.
We're sorting out a menu.
Yes.
It's going to be
and
tasty.
It's going to be a nice one. It's going to be a nice one. Tickets are limited. So if you want to come, don't leave your ticket until last minute, because you need to get your ticket. So just let. And last year's was lovely. It was really lovely. So this year's will be as well. And I've got a song already. I've got the song. So I did it. Yes. So get your tickets and dress up if you want to. It's just, it's a afternoon soiree.
Yeah.
We will be back next week at the same time, and we'll see you then.